It's Monday, July 29th. Yeah, July 29th. Had to think for a minute. And I'm sitting here on my front porch, and I thought I would do something different and give a little tour of my studio and my property out back with the chickens and the lambs. I'm going to try to take you through a little bit of my morning routine and just give a sense of what God has done here in my situation, since my post-divorce recovery started in early 2020. Some of you are on my studio newsletter, others are social media friends, but sometimes it's good to just get a big picture perspective despite ongoing setbacks and frustrations with the economy and all kinds of stuff, to take stock of how things are. And so I invite you to follow along, and maybe this will give you a better sense of what my business is like, what my life is like now that I've sadly been divorced twice. It's not what I thought my life would be like, but God is faithful, and God causes all things to work together for the good for those who love Him and who are called according to His purpose. So with that, I'm using an app that allows me to switch back and forth with front view and outward view, but I'll start and I'll try to narrate, and thank you for watching. So let's see here. So I'll just start when I finally was able to settle on a new home. It's in East Berlin, Pennsylvania, and I love where God took me. This is my house. It is a duplex that was, after I bought it, I opened it up into a single family home. And it doesn't have a basement. It's 2,500 square feet. But over here, what sold me on this property is that building is my art studio and garden center. It's a 3,000 square foot building. Yes, it's bigger than my house. All in all, I'm very grateful to be here. And sometimes people suggest that I just some people said, why don't you get a storefront? And I guess, I've been in business for over 35 years, but it's always been a home-based business because, while it sounds nice, it would be totally unfeasible for me to get a storefront. I've developed my business over the years as first being, a Christian, a wife, a mother that homeschooled my children, and an artist and a business person. So anyway, I don't want to take too long defending the benefits of having a home-based business, but I will say that my mortgage is difficult for me as a single woman and in this type of business, but it's less than, I wouldn't be able to rent much of anything for the cost of this mortgage. So it's definitely feasible, but I don't know, this economy has been bad. I went through this divorce and relocation during a pandemic. I just feel like, I'm not saying that I would have an easy time anyway, as a single woman, as an artist. But, I cannot stress It just seems like there's a number of like issues that have impacted me, and I really don't see any end to these issues for all of us. I mean, these are difficult times. So I'm grateful for those who do, purchase my artwork. Commissions are great, but selling things that are already created really, really helps me. So I give a little tour. This is my, it's an anti-theft device. Let's put it that way. No one would dare steal this vehicle. They would not get very far. So, I'm always trying to think of ways to advertise, and I got this on Amazon. The other week I was at Home Depot, and actually this man in the parking lot got into a pretty long conversation with me about what I do, and sounded like he might even want to come over and talk to me about doing a portrait of a farmhouse that he grew up on. And he took a card, and as we were standing there talking, another woman walked by and said, "Can I have a card?" That doesn't happen a lot. I don't know if I get any business from this, but I'm trying. So I have my gardens out here, and I also am doing a produce stand. I love to garden. What I don't sell, I preserve for my own use, and it really cuts back on my food budget. When I looked for a property, I wanted to have a little homestead, be self-sufficient as much as possible. There's a story about this rock, Expect Jesus. I'm not usually one to put like religious like signs out in the yard, but the previous owner had, it was kind of like a little realtor sign. It had the this phrase on it, "Expect Jesus," and there's kind of a story behind why I kept it. I don't know. I don't want to get on a tangent, but they were. When the first week or two I was here, my son was helping me, and we were out here on the driveway, and some man from the community stopped by, and he had been friends with the owner, and the owner was a Christian, so he said that something about in the story that the God told him that if this house was sold and that sign still stood and was not taken down, the one the previous owner put like on the little, I just hadn't decided yet what to do with that sign, I had not been here long, but he said if it's still here, it means that God wants me to go and introduce myself, basically. So my son Zach and I stood out and had this interesting conversation with this man on the driveway, and he said that every time he went by this house, he used to beep, and I had noticed that he beeps when he sees the sign that says "Expect Jesus," and so it was a fun, unique conversation. There was definitely something, I don't want to get too many details, that this man and the previous owner had known each other, from a church-based group before. Anyway, this man, he has like I think it's a maroon like Subaru. Every time it's around like 4 o'clock, if I'm out here, like sometimes he'll be driving by, and no, actually I think it's a navy blue. I forget. It's a little Subaru, but he always just hits the horn once when he passes by. One time, it was several months. It was in the winter, my first winter here in 2021, after I moved here, he showed up. It was January at my front door, and he knocked, and he said that he had a gift for me. It was a big container of nuts, you know, for like, it was like a Christmas thing, and he said that God told him to stop by and to give me this gift, and we had a lovely conversation. Anyway, I'm a storyteller. I did get on a tangent here, but so these are my pumpkins and butternut squash. This year I'm trying to let them grow over the whole area. Hopefully this hot weather has not affected them, and you know, in the fall I'll have some pumpkins. It would be great to do a little painting party, you know, for kids, you know, like a simple pumpkin project, and let them go out and pick their own pumpkin. I don't know. I'm always full of ideas, but ideas are nothing if they come to nothing. Well, they're not nothing, but you know what I'm saying. I always have ideas. So, okay, so this is, you know, we got, so I ended up, there were some rocks around the property and other places, and when I first moved here, I had some help, and we did this. So I decided I'm just going to permanently paint that. I liked that idea. So I just felt like God wanted me to do that and to save it here. So, because apparently the previous owner, it had a lot of people like knew him, and you know, his little sign that said "Expect Jesus" was significant in the community. So I kept that. So anyway, here's my produce stand. As you can see, I've spent a lot of time constructing things. This property looked very different when I bought it, but you know, I put some green tomatoes out yesterday, and a few peppers, and you know, some squash, and you know, it's just hard for me to, you know, I think I have a good business plan, but being alone here, it's you know, it's a lot to get established and to do it quickly enough. So cash flow is essential for not only me paying my bills, but paying for some help, because believe it or not, anyone in business might know, you have to have money to make money. You know, you don't wait till like you know, you're like making lots of money before you hire help. Hiring help actually helps people in business make money. It's counterintuitive, but the faster you get things done, the more likely you'll have a reward. So I feel frustrated because I get a lot of things to like what seems like 80%, but then I just can't get it quick enough to reap the benefits. So then it feels like a loss, you know. It's not a loss because, you know, theoretically, there's slow momentum, slow forward progress. I mean, like this year, you know, last year I built this to put, you know, I like to propagate plants and cuttings and stuff. And I started this last year. Didn't sell too many, but this year I had some peach trees that I started from seed, and I had about 10 of them. I sold all of them pretty easily. And, you know, right now I've got a couple of rooted Concord grapevines, $15 each. You know, every little bit helps. Now, I took another rock and I wrote Shalom on it because I like that word. You know, Shalom, you know, means the peace of everything, that the world being as it should be, you know. Yeah, you can research the Jewish phrase Shalom, but as a Christian, I still find a lot of value in that word, peace. I like full peace in everything. Anyway, I'm sort of lost for the words of what it actually, technically translates at. But it's broader than just a hello, goodbye, be at peace. It is like a desire for the everything in relationships, the world, for all to be as God wants it to be. And that I love that. Anyway, so here was something I made to, tripped on a little rock. I have some signs that say greens and different things. So around Christmas time, I'll put some signs up on there. I could probably do more with this than I have, but anyway. So out here is are some of my garden stations. I like raised beds. I tried growing okra here the last couple years, and I love growing okra, but it wasn't a huge hit, and it's hard to keep up with. So, I decided to make this for squash. I see something here ready to pick. So, I'll just take it on out. Add it in. So one of my goals, we try things, to see what works. And right now I'm wanting to have as much pick your own stuff as possible. And especially like berries, like strawberries and stuff. I keep working to establish things in different areas. It's not going to be a huge production or anything, but doing the produce stand is a way to meet people, to network in the community. It has many benefits. Just the exercise of it. I feel like I can pretty much eat what I want. I'm not totally skinny, but I've lost a lot of weight, and I seem to keep it off because, I'm very active, and that's good. It's good on many levels. Gardening is good for the soul. Anyway, but, I had put this out when, like in the fall and spring, I have kale and ground covers like spinach. Pick your own stuff. I had someone tell me one time that they came by and got some to feed their iguana. So that was a little fun. Let's see here. This is one little thing that I've made, and I try to turn it each week facing a different direction for traffic. And I've actually had in the past year, or past 9 months, I'd say, I think I put this out here in January, I've had some people stopping by for framing. I'd say those orders between those couple people were significant. I think it was about $1,000 worth of framing work between the two of them. And they plan to stop in for more as they're able to. So anyway, my friend was visiting here a couple weeks ago, and when she saw this, she says, "Oh, you should put this on Instagram." She thought it was very, eye-catching, unique. But again, like I'm just at a loss with this new trends of advertising. Like, I don't understand how just putting like a simple image on Instagram is going to get work. Like, I think people want to know details, whatever. But I did, there's a story about this. You know, I'm very much of a picker and a repurposer, but this was like something headed for trash. It's a headboard from a bed and the legs of the posts or whatever. Anyway, so okay. So up front is so this is my little open studio sign that I can put out. I did have an open studio yesterday and no one showed up. But here I am. I'm not to be discouraged. Just trust in God. Just double down on my promotions. Okay. So up front here, when I bought this property, the seller had 3 goats that were 5 months old, and I bought his goats, and I'll be showing you the whole area. I have sheep now. Sadly, all 3 goats died, but I'm not going to go into the story of how. But I've learned a lot since then. One was like very accidental. They ate clippings from my neighbor's compost through the fence, which had something that was toxic in it. And anyway, now we know. But this is a stall that the previous owner had already built. And, you know, I've constructed a little box here for their hay. I mean, the first goat, I'm a detail person, a storyteller. So here, Speedy and Anna were here. Those were, the 3 goats were Speedy, Anna, and Buck. 2 males and a female. So, you know, I think that the owner had got them for his son, which he was young, and these were bottle-fed goats. And I don't think he fully knew, like, some of the things about it. I didn't know that I couldn't feed them hay, like, just over the fence on the ground, because he said he just tossed it in. But I learned later, when the first one got rapidly sick from parasites and died within 24 hours, that you don't want to feed them off the ground because of contamination. And also, that's when I built the box. And that was in November of 2020. In April of 2021 is when the other 2, sadly, I found them dead up here. They had eaten clippings from yew tree, highly toxic. It's a shrub or a tree that is used in ornamental gardening. And, you know, my lovely neighbor that lives across there, I had watched her trimming her bushes that day, but she didn't know, and she put them in the compost way down at the back of the property next to the pasture area. And the goats, when I found them dead, you know, they must have come all the way up here for water, and it was sad, it was shocking. But I kept tracing in the steps and trying to figure, and then I saw these cuttings like coming through the fence, and they just looked like, you know, evergreen cuttings, but I put it on plant identification, and that's what it was. So anyway, I waited a year, and then in 2022, I got 2 sheep, which you'll meet soon. But I'm going to take you all around. But for now, this is an overview of the front of the building. In here is for tomatoes. Over there I have peppers and other items. I'm frustrated because I have these morning glories taking over and I am not sure how to... My first red tomato. Yeah, everything is behind. But I'm worried about how to get rid of those invasive morning glories that have been here for a couple years, 2 years now. At first I didn't have them. So this is the entrance to my studio, and of course I tried to get some color on it, you know, so that people driving by will think, huh, I wonder what's going on there, you know. And I have garden areas out here. These are, previously I had my squash and beans in there, but I have decided I'm trying to totally transplant strawberries and just establish that as pick your own. I have some berries, you know, along here, raspberries, and I have more out back. So this is an example of something unfinished, not quite done with these flowers on the side. Maybe someday. So with that, I'm going to pause here and then take you on the next leg of my tour. Thanks for watching. Okay, I'm back after taking a little bit of break to check email and stuff. So, yeah, coming back out here. Yeah, a little bit more of the gardens. So I'm trying to establish pumpkins here also. These are pumpkins, and eventually get it to trail all in there. You know, I've got some herbs, a little bit of herbs here. I did plant some okra this summer, and this is where people would pay. And I do find a few dollars here and there. I do sell eggs. I sell them for $3 a dozen. I hear that in Upper Virginia they sell for $6 a dozen, from a friend that lives near DC. Anyway, I'm out here in rural East Berlin, Pennsylvania. So, you know, I just string a lot of little things together to try to keep income coming in. And, you know, it takes time to, you know, like for updates, have a Facebook page, update that, homegrown fresh produce. I can take pictures of, you know, what I have out for sale. As you can see, work, work, work. And, you know, at some point I just, you know, long for it to be easier. Anyway, visitors, please open door and holler for me. If that's for my living in the South. If I am out back or in-house a few moments, then please call my cell phone. You know, trying to think of everything. I took my flyers. I had a bunch of flyers in here, and I put them out on my produce stand. So that's yet another thing I need to replenish. But, yeah, you know, lots of investment and, you know, hoping that things will get going. And, you know, in a perfect world, I would be out here working in my gardens, and people would be stopping in and say, hey, what you doing there? Can I come in and see your artwork or whatever? You know, someone stopping by. I mean, honestly, in previous years at other locations, this happened, you know, often. You know, here, like, not one single thing, but it was a combination of reaching people and getting work. Yep, I live job to job, and that's the nature of this, but we are in strange times. Anyway, before I take you in my studio, this was my project 2 Easters ago, I guess in 2020, let me think, yeah, 2023 maybe. I decided, I like this quote by Audrey Hepburn. To plant a garden is to believe in tomorrow. And I keep believing in tomorrow. I keep planting the seeds, watering the seeds, doing the hard work, believing, hoping that I will reap in due season if I do not grow weary. That's a scripture. Some of you who are more Christian-based will recognize that. Okay, so I'm just coming out here for the first time today, so I'll take you through. I'll be turning lights on. I thought this was clever. I bought it one time in Lancaster. Your husband called. He said, you can buy anything you want. That's funny. Okay, so get some lights going on here so I can show you. Everything you see here, I see dollar signs, buying lights, you know, getting insulation in here. This was a cinder block building, and it required some work to it when I first came here to keep the heating and cooling in. And, you know, I did all this. I had a source for these pallet boards. They were very nice and they were very reasonable in cost, and we put insulation behind here, and there were many late nights in the winter of early 2021 that I would be in here listening to. I remember what I was listening to when I was working. I was listening to Garrison Keillor, all his audiobooks. You know, a lot of times I remember artwork and projects like portraits by what I was listening to, what kind of music, what kind of Bible scripture, podcasts, movies. Maybe I'm doing something in front of the TV on occasion, or audiobooks. But yeah, I remember there was snow sometimes on the ground, and I would come out here on a Friday night, Saturday night for a couple weeks in a row, and I was cutting and piecing and screwing these things together. I got about this far. I'm trying to finish off with this area, and then you'll see in here, but then I'm using like fabric and stuff. But so the idea is that, as I said, the initial part of this building, if people come in, is an area where I can display ready-made creative works that are for sale, and also examples of things people can custom order. Now, when I lived in Delaware, and also to some degree in Alabama, I mean, honestly, my business never rebounded in the South during that 8-year marriage. I spent a lot of time and a lot of money trying to rebuild it. I mean, it was actually better than it is now in a lot of ways, but it was never to the point that it was in Delaware. That was a huge impact when I made that decision, for a lot of reasons. Got a little beetle in my hair. Just flicked him to the ground. Okay, so let me show you some things here. Like this painting, I would take the right buyer for that piece. There's a story behind that. I started it in Alabama. One morning I accidentally dropped the coffee pot. I was so tired in the morning, and it broke on the ceramic tiles, and I was standing there in my bare feet, and I was like, oops. I just thought that would be a unique kind of painting for the right buyer. A lot of these things would take the right person to come along. Now, these are some scenes that I've been painting that go with a children's book that I'm working on for couple years now. It's called The 7 Flights of Spiro the Sparrow. That's another one from that. And this piece is called Conductivity, Granny's Woodstock Garden. You know, artists, every, we get ideas, and sometimes I just need a mental break from some kind of project to do something else and to keep the creative juices going. I love to repurpose things. I get canvases at Goodwill. This was like a doily that I got at Goodwill, and I collaged it on. I've been doing a lot of collage work lately. I really seem to enjoy it. I learn from everything I do, and I keep growing artistically, and that is time invested. I need to sell the pieces too, but when someone does come to me for commissioned work, I bring to the table the skill set that I've developed through all kinds of mixed media, watercolor, acrylic, all kinds of work for now like over 35 years. So I try to educate and help people understand how life works, how business works in my business as an artist. And my business is unique, of course, but all artists, I hope that at the end of this video, you'll appreciate more what it takes to pursue like a career, home-based art career. Artists are all different. Many artists just, they have one certain specialty. Sometimes they do better, like if they're just like, they do pottery, but they're really, really good at pottery. It's more straightforward. It's simpler, but for whatever reason, God has gifted me. Okay, I'm back, and I was surprised to find that the last 10-minute segment I made ended abruptly. I saw something had popped up, some like option thing on this app on the bottom of the screen, and I touched to get rid of it. I don't know why. I must have touched something. It popped up, and I was actually speaking and showing things beyond that. And when I went to actually end the clip, I realized it started recording. I was like, oh no, that was not recording. So I'm going to backtrack. I had to listen to the whole thing because I can't go through the segment and scroll. I had to listen to 10 minutes of it. So I went in and had lunch while I listened to see where I was. So take 2 here of this part. So I was last saying that some artists will just focus on one thing, one service. Maybe they're a very good portrait painter or pottery. Or they're a caricature artist, and and that's all they do. And I think in some ways that's easier to promote because it's all kind of in the same genre. On the other hand, I feel that my diversity has helped me to sustain a business. It's definitely helped me with, I'm trying to remember what I said on the other part. I don't want to repeat myself. The diversity, I don't get bored. It helps me personally. It's the way God has gifted me. I have multiple skills, multiple talents, from calligraphy to caricature art to painting to portraits to collage, and that it is what it is, right? And it's kind of good in a way because if one type of service is not selling, sometimes then something else, comes along. Anyway, so I believe that's where I was. This is hard because this is like a take 2, and I'm trying to recall exactly what I said that didn't get recorded and not repeat myself. But I don't think in the part that got recorded I said that it can be discouraging to me that the market value for caricature drawing at parties is so high, which is wonderful. It helps float everything else that I do that I consider more valuable in the long term. It's caricature drawing at parties. It's entertainment, right? So there's a, I cannot make that hourly rate doing like a fine art portrait that will be a family keepsake, at all hours of the day and night, on and off in my pajamas, or, on a late night Friday night, whatever, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. Just doesn't work that way, because you have to keep your other products and services affordable. And, quite honestly, my work is probably worth a lot more than I sell it for. But, like most artists, we cannot sell it for what it really takes to create. So I try to do a lot of derivative pieces where I'll do an original work, like, take this for example, this collage piece. I can sell the original, and I can make prints, note cards, whatnot. So, this is very frustrating to me, because I do remember I had shown Granny's Woodstock Garden and Conductivity. This is a new piece I just finished up. It took me 2 years. I'll be promoting this more in detail. It's a musical-based piece with a quote. It's a collage work from Leonard Bernstein. This will be our reply to violence: to make music more beautifully, more devotedly than ever before. It's got a lot of symbolic kind of work in it, and I started it in February of 2022, I believe, at the beginning of the Ukraine war. So anyway, these pictures, for example, are illustrations and paintings that go in a children's book I've been slowly working on, called The Seven Flights of Spiro the Sparrow. And that's an image from the book that I took, the bird, and kind of it's a collage, and then the bird is collaged, and then, I put it with a print background and framed it. I mean, again, the right buyer might come along for something like that. Framed prints. This is a poem by Mary Oliver called Wild Geese. I love Mary Oliver's work in that. These are displays of personalized wedding gifts. People like personal gifts with names and wedding date put in it. Cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. 1 Corinthians 13. These hands, wedding poem. This is a sample of wedding vows that I did for someone many years ago. And bridal bouquet preservation. And yesterday, during the time my open house was going, when no one came, I made use of the time. I worked outside some, and I also worked on continuing to frame up in little old frames, something I can take to different flower shops to leave for promotion. But it's a lot of work, and then finding the places to best leave them and make contact. I'm not always the best salesperson, and it feels like potential rejection, like I might walk in there and have to talk to the manager, and then they'll say, oh, we're not interested, or whatever. I mean, I find that most flower shops will take something like that. But anyway, so this is a personalized gift for wives, mothers. It's based on Proverbs 31, the virtuous woman, personalized. So I know this part didn't record. This is a display, just, if people came in, to give an idea of what's possible. Caricatures at a picnic. Customization of, with the drawing on the wedding poem, Christmas cards, company work, just all kinds of things that I've done over the years. When I was in Delaware, people did come in and take a look, and then I had opportunity with different customers to show, a full range of what I do, especially with weddings. I started my business addressing wedding invitations, and that has really gone by the wayside. I find that most people don't pay for that anymore. I don't know. It's just, everything has changed. But, when I was in Delaware, I had quite a large studio there that I had invested in, and, brides would come in and drop off their invitations to be addressed, and then they would look around, and they might hire me to do caricatures at their wedding reception, or do a painting, or bridal bouquet preservation. It's word of mouth. One thing leads to another. So anyway, so I took you from this initial little gift shop area into this room of this building. And here, these were things I had put out yesterday. I was hoping to clearance. I've just had them around too long, just stuff. But, I have examples up of house portraits, people portraits. A lot of these are prints of things that I've done in the past, pets. This is a tool when people come in to be able to visually show them what I do. Yeah, I've got lots of mess here, stuff in progress. Busy. So here again, more samples. I did have a bride drop off her wedding bouquet last week to be preserved, and she and her sister walked through here, and she was looking at this, and she might, eventually see what it would cost for me to paint from photos of her wedding since it's passed. But, here's another piece for sale from the book illustrations for the children's book. It's about a little sparrow, and these are the little birds in all their different positions flying from the book, and then I just put them all on one canvas and painted. So this is basically a work area for canvas painting and other kinds of projects like that. This is my vise where I join frames. I get them as chops, and then I have to do it the old-fashioned way with nails and putty and do the corners that way. So, moving on, there is an upstairs small, you see the cathedral ceiling in here. And, when I moved here, it was all cinder. We put in a mini split, had to put insulation up, fans. So the upstairs is just right now, I don't use it for anything. It's hot up there and it's unfinished, but this door does go to a third floor. So in here, it was a real blessing to finally be able to get a sink in here to wash brushes. Previously, I was taking them over to the house to wash them. Just lots and lots of investment, and during a difficult economic time. So here is the custom framing area where I have my mat cutter and I can do framing. I had got insulation in bulk, and I'm still trying to add the insulation here gradually to keep, heating and cooling in. It's a little cold in here in the winter, and a little hot in the summer. I do have window units. You can see out back. So, yeah, I'm just using whatever I can to cover over the insulation, including fabric. You know, so, okay, so downstairs. So this building goes downstairs. This was from a frame that I picked up. You know, a bunch of frames people were throwing out at the curb. And I felt like I wanted to keep it. It was actually on the back of this frame. Someone had painted it as a gift to their brother. And they put a message on the back in the 70s. But it's a paint by numbers. I just thought, oh, I'll stick it up here. And I put, for as often as ye fix thine eyes upon this paint by numbers masterpiece, please remember Leonardo. It's kind of weird because right now there's a lot of news going on about this painting of the Last Supper and the Olympics, but yeah, I just thought that was a little fun. So anyway, so on down here, reminder of poison ivy, what it looks like. I've had a really bad case of it recently. So let me turn on some lights here. So this little room, I do like to repurpose things. I'm a terrible picker. Like someone was throwing this table and chairs out at the curb. I watched the couple bring it down and put it by the curb. I stopped. They were moving. It was a beautiful little set. They just was hoping someone would take it. It came with a little matching rug, and you know, I turned it into like a darling little checkerboard thing and made the little pieces. But I've had it here for now 2 years. I've $95. Can't sell it. Had it on Marketplace. Had a couple of inquiries, but nothing. You know, this has more like painted furniture, you know, things I pick up for free or people give me, that I piddle around with, you know, when I feel like I want to. But, you know, I started this as more display area. These are wood pieces. And, you know, one winter I had a lot of, you know, apple butter and jellies and stuff that I had canned. I had put them here for sale. I tried to have open houses at the holidays. Very little response. So that's that. So in here, I've been working, it's a little bit of a mess right now because there's a lot of outdoor stuff coming and going in here. But I have 2 tables and displays, not displays, but racks. Like I had built these in Alabama to do painting parties. Like people can sit, have the, you know, like a joint easel. And, you know, I did a lot of work last winter trying to get painting parties going. As of yet, still not taking off. These are examples, prints that I've made of, you know, painting party ideas. The idea would be people would be here having the, you know, group at the party, and they could see other things and say, oh yeah, we'd like to do the lamb sometime, or we have friends that want to do the sunflower. And, you know, over here is around last Christmas time, I spent time, you know, building a little coffee bar for painting parties and, you know, just for a little food and, you know, having these little cards that people can take, you know. Oh yeah, I want to do the pumpkin painting party. They can take it. It's got the contact information. It pulls out of here. You know, I'm really good at, like someone said, you got the creative thing down, but and printing stuff for advertising, but getting people to actually come and to respond, I'm not so good at. So all these samples that I did of painting party ideas I put them for sale. So recently I got up here, I need more space. I found a way to hang these up, put them for sale. Basically, most of them are like, I think I've been advertising them at $125 to include for the shipping and all, but really I would take less for them just to move them out. Like $95, $85, but then there's the shipping. It depends on whether the person is local or I need to ship it. This part of the building, this man that owned this property, he built this, I don't know, it's like for the zombie apocalypse or something. I don't know. It's a long story. Like he worked in masonry and he built this whole building himself. It's got a pretty intense circuit breaker amps, as I've been told. that's where the idea zombie apocalypse. I guess he was a prepper, and now here I am, and I'm thankful for it. I love this building, but it's a unique building. So yeah, this is just another area. I have this to cut cardboard for shipping and storage and tools and workbench. So back to in here. I guess that's pretty much what there is to show. I'm going to take you out back and show this area. So then this building exits out here. In the summer months, some evenings I'm alone here. I enjoy just relaxing in the pool. Got a fire pit. I've been propagating plants more and more, and I get a lot of free wood from different places, and I like to build things apparently. And this is like a station for potting berries and other stuff. I've got the seeds from my peach tree, from the peaches in here, and hopefully I'll have a lot of new peach trees to sell next year. So I'm going to pause this and then continue on. Okay, so I'm still out back. So over here, now this area needs some attention right now. Got a lot of weeds coming up, but this is a berry, thornless blackberries, raspberries, again, strawberries, aiming for a bit of possible pick your own, but also for my own use. So this is the back area. That's where we started up front, where the other shelter is that was originally built for the goats that I had bought. So recently, this past year, I put in all this fence work to protect the orchards from the sheep, because I was paying my neighbor to ride his mower through all this area, and it saves me money now. Like this small area that's left, he's trading me something, so there's no cash. We're sharing our we're sharing our trash together. So because he has very little. So anyway, so I try to reap financial benefit in all kinds of ways. Okay, so if I don't have to pay him to cut all this, it gives my sheep more grazing pasture, and there's a lot of, it's a money saving long term. So people would say, well, Eileen, why do you have sheep? Why do you have chickens? I could say, why do you have a dog? Why do you go to the gym? It's hard for me because I can get defensive. Like, I think, some people just wouldn't want this kind of life. Like, why are you doing all this? But this is the life that I want right now for the rest of my life, I have no partner. I'm alone here, and it helps me to nurture living creatures, to have a routine. I get eggs. I eat a lot of eggs, get my protein from that. Eggs are a great trading, bartering item, to tip someone that comes to helps me with some outdoor stuff. I give them some eggs too or whatever. For my gardens, the compost from both the chickens and the sheep, that's good compost. And it is a lot, though. It is a lot when it's not going smoothly. When I'm getting work trickle in and I need it to flood. I need lots more recovery work and sales, and to keep recovering the expenses that this has involved in trying to, reestablish my life. In hopes of having my sons once again come and go. I have grandkids now, and some of you personally know me and the messy situations going on with that. It can feel like this is too much personally, but I believe I'm where God wants me. God brought me here, and I'm just gonna keep on keeping on. But anyway, I'm going to show you the chickens. It's getting later in the day. I'm starting to sweat. I usually have my hair up, but for the video I put it down, so it's a little hot. So here we go. There's the back of the house. So this shed was here, and the other guy actually had chickens in the shed at one point, but nowhere near the way I set this up with proper ventilation and everything. But, they've got a little ramp here and a door that stays open from the inside. They can come out on their own into a run. But I'm going to check on things here, and I'm going to let them out. I've been letting them free range. There she is. She left me an egg. So, okay. So, hey girl. Got roosting bars. Apparently, I like to design things, It's art in me. I really enjoy designing stuff for different reasons. Like the reasoning behind designing it. Nesting boxes. Okay. Food. Okay, if it splashes off, because they like to peck around on the ground. So in here, there they are. They've got a run with netting over it. Used a lot of pallets. Oh, we got a little one here. There's the little peep. There's a little peep. One little peep. So, I have had help here. One of my friends from Delaware, going way back from church, she's come and visited a number of times for weekends and given me a helping hand with, these projects, and that's wonderful. And I've paid people to help, especially things I can't do it all myself. But here we go. Here's my apple orchard. And hopefully my son and his girlfriend are going to come later this week, and we're going to wow, they're getting nice. We're going to be making apple butter and picking and whatnot. So here's, I started letting them free range a few months ago, like earlier this year, like, I don't know, maybe in March. And there's a little doorway where they can come out here. Oh, she startled me. There's a little peep. You know, people would say, why chickens? I'll tell you a story. Yesterday, I was discouraged, and I was walking up there between the house and the carport, and I looked in between, like where I have some berries on, and I saw a white chicken just like walking all around, and I thought, you know what? Encouragement is worth it. It just made me smile, this little chicken running around like she wandered all the way up front. You know, sometimes they do go up front. You know, it's all how you think about things, right? I mean, some people, they get their nails done, their hair colored, they go to gyms, they go out for dinner or whatever. That doesn't really float my boat. But apparently seeing a random chicken in the middle of the day when I'm like really discouraged, that floats my boat. That's worth it, right? To me. I mean, you don't have to agree with me, but, you know, try to understand how I see things. You know, I'm alone here, right? And, you know, yeah, it's a lot of work at times. There's sometimes I think, oh my goodness. But something feels right about it to me, that this is the life God has for me now. So anyway, yeah, I had to, so my Katahdin sheep, they're hair sheep, and you're going to see, I've had 2 baby lambs born in the last 2 weeks. They do not have wool. They are hair sheep. They're bred for their meat, and they're very easy to take care of in terms of sheep, but they will go after fruit trees. So they're like goats, you know. So this is one of my peach trees. This is another peach tree. You know, I've been establishing all this stuff. Hopefully, you know, in years to come, I'll continue to reap benefit. It's a cherry tree, cherry, Concord grapes. These were here from the other owner. They're doing well. There's very nice grapes to make jelly, juice, all kinds of things. Share with friends. Have another peach tree, 3 peach trees, 2 persimmons. Now, I need to find out where these sheep are. Where are they today? So it does make me a little nervous. I had a ram here for a few months to breed them because I want to sell the babies and recoup money. And plus, it's just been an amazing experience watching this. And I am a little nervous about how this is going. That this one lamb was not nursing and bonding well, but she was doing. They're both baby male lambs. They were doing well yesterday, but this is the first I've been out here, so I'm hoping that there's no surprises. It worries me a little bit. You know, I'm new to this, but where are they? Usually they're down here. We'll find them. So here's a stall. Oh, they're not in here. So I'll do my sheep call. Ma, ma. It's not ba, it's ma. That's what their moms say. That's what I was told when I got them, how to call them. They must have gone up front. So you can see this large area back here. This property looks bigger than it is. It's 1.34 acres. They must be up front. Wow. So here you can see along the side, this is my neighbor's yard, but they have an area here. So when those goats had eaten from her compost, it was back here, and somehow they walked all the way up, because I've learned that yew tree clippings are so toxic. You know, they will pretty much kill an animal instantly. But these had no berries on them. I think they just ate the needles. Maybe that's why they were able to walk this far up to where I had found them. This was April of 2021. So anyway, oh, I see them up there. Ma! Ma! So the adult sheep are Natalie and Elizabeth, and the two baby lambs are Rammy Jr. and Rammy Jr. Jr. I'm not going to name a ram because I'm not going to keep a ram. Hello. Where's the other one? There they are. Oh, thank goodness. Everyone looks good. Everyone looks good today. I am going to have to maybe weigh this little one later today on a scale. Make sure he's gaining weight. I really enjoy the lambs. I feel like spiritually I've learned so much. Well, this seems like a good place to end. And thanks for watching. And talk later. Bye. Well, maybe I'm not done. If you want to keep watching, you can. I'm going to follow them back. They have gone back there. I think they want treats. So we'll get to see them one more time. I forgot to show one of the most beautiful places here. It's a row of, on each side of the property there's pine tree tunnels that were planted, and this one is so beautiful. It's a lovely place to come outside, especially at nighttime, and pray. You can't really see it as it is too well here, but I will take you through it at the end because it's just such a beautiful, beautiful spot. Boy, if you've watched to here, you're really a diehard. And thank you. Okay. Oops. Hey, yous. Hey, yous. Where did they go? Ma! Ma! Let's see if I can get him to hear. Come on. Come on. Come on. Ma! Ma! Come on. This way. Come on. Ma! Come on. Want some treats? This is also a nice place to sit, listen to music at night, pray. Occasionally I have a friend visit and we can go and sit there. Come on. I rattled it. Come on. Here she comes. There she comes. Usually they come. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Look. There's treats down here. Come on. Come on. Okay, I'll take you through the pine tunnel, and that'll be the end of this video. Isn't this beautiful? I've had some nice pictures with snow in the ground too. At nighttime, when you come out here and walk, there's birds that are nested in these branches, and you can hear them flying all around as they get disturbed. Usually in the daytime you don't hear it, but it's really nice at night to hear them flying around.